Thanks for being here. So today we are going to be doing mobility, all basically targeting our hips. So lower body, our hips do, it's a joint and we go through multiple different ranges of motion. Our hips externally rotate, they internally rotate, they flex, they extend. They do a lot of stuff. So we are going to be targeting all of the movements of the hip joint through tons of different exercises. So first we will start. If you guys want to grab your foam rollers, we're going to first start by rolling out the front side of our quads. So our quads are part of our hip flexors. So what I want you to roll out is going to be right above your knee all the way up to like where your hip bones are. And so we can do this starting on our forearms. If you guys can see, I'm just right up along my quads right now. And I'm going to go up and down, slow and controlled. And then there's a few ways we can progress this. So what you can do, if you find a point in tension, say you're like, oh, my IT band right here is really tight, you can just hold that position. And then you can kind of just pull your foot up towards your butt. That's going to lengthen all the front side of your quad right here. And then you can extend it, going back down. So if that feels good, or you can kind of just go up and down and then on side to side. Okay, so we'll do this. I'm going to start my timer. When we do any sort of foam rolling, we like to target for at least 30 seconds on each muscle group. That is how long it takes our muscles to really start to relax. So while we're doing this, we're breathing in through our nose, and then also try to do it out through your nose as well. Hello, Darlene. So we're just starting right now. We're rolling out the front side of our quads, and we're going to be here for 1 minute total. So you can do 30 seconds about on each side. So just like this, right, all up and down here. And then you can shift your weight to the side as well to try to get that IT band. So you can go on one side, you can kind of bring one foot up and then just going up and down. And then you get to choose how much pressure you put into it. So the more body weight you put into it and you lean into it, the deeper your muscle will feel. Feel all of that tension release. So we'll be here for another 20 seconds. Good. You guys all got it. And if at any point you guys have any questions, if you guys can feel free just to ask me anything. All right.
Will this end up being in the library?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I forget. If I want to do it on my own, I need guidance.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go ahead, and now we'll do the same thing with our calves. So it's going to be the same type of rolling up and down motion. So what I like to do is I like to crisscross my foot over my other foot, and then I lift my hips up off the ground. And then same thing, going all the way up and down your calf. You don't have to do this from your hip, but I find if you put more body weight into it, then you can really get deeper in there. And same thing, we want to be going laterally on either side of our calf muscle. And then you'll stop right above like your, where it would be the back of your knee or below your ankle. Just all up and down. We'll do 10 more seconds on the left side, and then we'll switch to the right.
So tight.
Yeah. Yes. All right. All right, go ahead and switch sides if you have not already. We'll do 30 seconds on the right side now. All right. Okay, about 10 more seconds, and then we'll switch things up. So for those who came on a little bit later, today we are targeting our hips. So right now we're releasing our calves. We just did our quads. We're working up our body like it's a chain, the kinetic chain. So that's why we're targeting all sides, front and back, of joints that also affect your hips. And you guys can go ahead. Let's take the foam roller over to the side. We are done with that. And then we are going to come up into a runner's lunge. And we will just hold this position. So you can start on your hands and knees like this. You can bring one foot up, and then your opposite leg is just gonna go straight back like this. So one knee, my ankle's right above my knee, and then I'm taking, so this is my left leg. Take your left forearm down as low as you can towards the ground, and you're just gonna hold this position. So you'll feel this all open up the back leg that's straight, and then all in here, that's where you'll feel it on that front leg. So switch, take your right arm on the inside. So, yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then, Darlene, if you want to keep your right foot off, or your knee off the ground, keep it lengthened. Good. Yep, you guys all have got it. And we're just holding this position. Just try to relax through your hips, through your back, and then just really sink down towards the ground. Right. In about 10 seconds, we'll switch to the other side. So just continue to breathe deeply and evenly through your nose. If you can, also exhale through your nose. Try to get your central nervous system to also relax while we do this. All right, go ahead. Let's switch to the other side. So whichever foot you have not had up yet, bring that foot up now. Again, we're keeping our joints in alignment, so that just means our foot is right below our ankle, or our knee, I'm sorry. And then your same side arm is going to go straight down. And then you're just gonna hold. Good. All right, halfway. We'll do 15 more seconds here. All right, and time. Okay, so this next position is called a camel pose. So what we're trying to target here is stretching out the front side of our quads again. So you will start in this half kneeling position. So my feet are just like right behind me, going like this. And then what my upper body is doing is I'm going to reach my hands backwards. If this is, don't arch your back at all though. Try to keep a neutral spine. And then you can relax your hands right on your heels, keeping your chest pulled back. You'll get a stretch in your back, but really we're trying to feel this right in this front of our quads. So go ahead. If it's too much of a arch, you can kind of drop your hips backwards a little bit so you're a little closer to the ground, but really we're just trying to lengthen all right in here. Good. Yes, you guys all got this. And then if you wanted to make this a little bit more dynamic, you can kind of rock your hips backwards and then kind of come back up to forward. Doing this super slow and controlled, trying to keep a relatively neutral spine, or at least just not over like extending in our lumbar spine. And then you can kind of just lengthen the front side of your hip flexors, return back. Good. All right, let's do one more 10-second hold where we're just holding our, extending our hips, trying to get as much extension as we can in our quads, and then we will switch. Can you see me okay, switch?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. And time. Okay. So that was stretching our quads, our front side of our hips. We're also going to do another stretch. This is just a sideline quad stretch. Same thing, trying to start with our stretching out this front side of us. So come down onto your side, and then you're going to take your top foot just straight up towards your hips, and we're going to hold this position. You can relax your upper body completely on the ground like this. Can you guys see? So all you're doing is just holding this. So Darlene, straighten your bottom leg on the ground, your left side. Yes. And then if you want, you can keep your shoulder right where it is, or you can even relax your shoulder on the ground too. Yep, perfect. So here you can just think about kind of the more that you're pulling your foot in while keeping your pelvis tucked, then you're just trying to lengthen whichever foot, whatever that quad is that's on top that you are stretching. That's what we're going for here. So you should feel a good stretch right in this front side of our hips and in our thigh area.
I have a question. When I try to do that, I feel pain on the right side of my kneecap. Is there a modification?
Yes. Do you feel it when you're only in the end range, or do you feel it just bending your knee in general?
I think on the end range.
On the end range? Okay, so if you want to stand up, you can do this standing up, and then you don't have to go into this full end range. You could even just lengthen your quad. This is still lengthened. It's not in complete flexion, but you could kind of rest it up, even on like a bench or something. So you can modify how much you're flexing and pulling by just not going all the way up. So if this feels okay, this is the full range of what your quads do. So just kind of limit that range. Is that feeling better?
Okay. Got it.
Okay, great.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Oh, good. All right. And then let's go ahead and switch to the other side if you haven't done so already. Great. Also, for those I know who weren't here last week, we have, and you guys have access to this in the Training Tree library. This is an 8-week series. So today we're targeting our hips. Last week, the mobility session that you guys also have access to is called Undoing the Desk Body. So we did a lot of mobility exercises, some of them similar to this, opening up our hips, but really working on opening up our upper body as well. For those who sit at chairs or desks or computer all day, just opening up hips. We opened up our shoulders. What else? Yeah, a lot of upper body mobility that you guys can utilize too. But today's the hips. All right, let's go ahead and come out of that. Then this is going to, okay, so this one, what we're going to do is take our legs really, really wide, open like this. As wide as you can, that's comfortable. So you should even just in this position feel a stretch in your inner thighs. Then what I want you to do is take your arms straight out to the side. You're going to form a T. So being like a scarecrow right now, I want you to rotate your chest over towards the right as far as you can until you can't go any further. Okay, then I want you to come down, tap your hand on the ground, side bend, rotate right here. And then you're going to come back up and then return back to that starting position. And then we're going to do the opposite side. So open and rotate as much as we can. Extend when you can't go down any further. This is going to lengthen your adductor even more. Get in some good spinal rotation here. Back up. Return back to center. Rotate the chest all the way down. And then return to the other side. So we're going to make this dynamic. We'll be here for about 20 more seconds. So try to really get as much rotation as you can in your thoracic spine. That's like our upper spine right here. This is our cervical spine. This is our thoracic. Like basically right where your sports bra ends is kind of this general area that we're trying to get that rotation in. All right, let's do one more each way. Good. And last one. Great. Okay. Go ahead. Let's lay on down. We are going to do a glute, a supine glute stretch. So what this looks like, you'll be straight on your back. You'll bring both legs up to 90. Then we can start with our right foot. So my right foot comes on right at my knee on my left side. And then I pull my left hamstring in towards me. And what this does, I feel this all on the right side of my glute. So the more that I'm pulling my my left leg in. I'm thinking about cranking my right knee towards the wall, and that's going to create even more of a stretch right in this glute med area. And we're just going to hold this. We're going to continue to breathe. Your neck should be nice and relaxed on the ground. Yes. Great. Are we all feeling this out in that outer glute area? Yes.
Big time.
Great. Yep. All right. Do we want to hold here a little longer, or do we want to switch? Think a little longer? Okay. We'll stay here for 30 more seconds. Yes. All right. So if you want to pull that hamstring in a little bit closer, try to really lengthen. We've got 15 more seconds. And your knee that you're using kind of is that leverage point, can push even more to create that twerk on the right side. All right, and time. Go ahead. Let's switch on sides. So we will rotate the front thigh of the opposite foot that you just started with. So you're going to keep your calf on, or I'm sorry, not your calf, your hamstring pulling in towards you, and your hips will stay squared off. You don't want to be shifting up or down either way. I'm going to try to keep a neutral spine here and just allow the left glute, glute med, that's the muscle we're stretching. Right, 10 more seconds here. Okay, and time. All right, so we'll stay on the ground for this next exercise as well. We are going to go into an activation exercise. This is just going to get your spine to have some awareness here. We're going to go into pelvic tilt. So what I want you to do is lay on the ground. And so we'll think about going into an anterior tilt. So what that is, I have space right now. I'm kind of thinking about kind of like pulling my hips backwards. And then I'm going to do the opposite and then pull them back kind of into this posterior tilt. And so it's just going through this lumbar kind of pelvis area of rotating each way. So I'm driving my belly button down into the ground. And then I'm thinking about tilting forward, coming up into this end range. And so each one of these, we're just going to continue to go through this. And what I want you to do when you get to the end range is just hold for a second or two and then do the opposite. And then drive up. And if you even put like your hands right below or underneath your lower back, you should be able to feel this space open up, and then feel your pelvis and your back going straight into your hands. And then opposite side. Yep. Right. Right. Let's do about 3 more here in each direction. And then once you finish that third one, you can come on up to seated. Okay. Great. All right. We are going to do a few different exercises now that go into hip internal and external rotation. So we will start in this 90-90 position. So again, joints are in alignment here. My front knee is my left knee. I have my knee in line with my hip, and then my ankles in line with my knee. And then same thing in the back. It's another 90 degree, like an L. So first sit up nice and tall. And then I want you to lower your chest down towards your front knee as low as you can go. So you'll feel this on the left side of your glute area. So try to turn chest down, and depends on how tight your hips are right now. So you might not be able to go as low as me, which is fine. You can just kind of have your arms on more of an angle up here. But if you can come on down and this doesn't feel like anything's pinching, you can come down as low as you can. So first we're stretching out our outer kind of left glute area right here in our hips. And then we are going to make this dynamic, and we're going to sit all the way back up. And then we're going to reach back for our right foot. So as I'm doing this, I want my left knee not to elevate. I want to be driving this down too as I'm reaching back for my right foot. And then you should feel this all in your inner thigh adductor area as we're reaching back. And then we're going to come back down, drive your chest down towards your front knee. So we'll do this in 3 times each direction. So that was number 1. Now we're going to sit back up nice and tall, reach back for that right foot. And then good. And then we'll come back all the way over our front knee again. And then one more time.
I don't know what. Oh. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't feel anything when I reach for the right foot in the back.
How can you? Yeah. So bring your knee closer towards your right knee closer towards your windows. Right knee. So your back knee. Your back knee is like kind of like this. Can you drive it back further? So there's basically like 2.5 feet in between my knees right here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I put my right knee back much further.
Okay, now are you feeling it? Okay.
No.
No? It's also possible that you might not have any restriction right now in your internal kind of rotators of your hip. Depends on how tight, how mobile you are. But let's go ahead, let's switch to the other side. So try and switch it on the other side how it feels, because you might have different ranges of motion depending on what side you're dominant on, or just how much hip mobility you have. So let's go ahead, come back down over that front knee, and then we can reach back for that left foot this time. Right, and then go ahead, come back down over your front knee, and then reach back. Okay. All right, one more time over that front knee. Trying to get a little bit lower each time we go down in each direction. And back one more time. Okay. All right, so that is our 90-90. Now we're going to do something similar to that. It's still working internal and external rotation of the hips. This is going to be like a weird position, but start with your knees out really wide. And then we will do one knee at a time. So let's start on our left side. So I have my feet just kind of like propped up like this in this flex position. And then I'm going to take my left knee, and I'm going to drive inward, only to a range where you feel a good stretch in your inner thigh and your adductors right in here. So trying to drive, and then you can kind of put some pressure through this heel too as we're pulling in, and then we're going to come all the way out as far as we can this way without shifting our hips too much. We want to keep our hips our body pretty stable here, but going through, driving in as far as you can. Hold this end range for a second or two longer. Switch if you want to hold really try to just hold this end range, but instead of going so quickly between them, we're going to be going a little bit more intentionally and holding, and then coming out as much as we can, holding this end range, and then just going through internal and external rotation in a more dynamic way, but still intentionally holding a little bit longer on each side. Let's do one more rotation each way, and then we will go to the right side. Right, great. Okay, so then you can come back to the starting position. Keep our shoulders pulled back. Our hands can be going back just like this. And then drive your right knee down towards the ground. Our foot stays flexed in this position. And then we come back to the starting position, and then we'll drive on into towards our left side here. You'll feel this when you're driving in. All of the muscles in here kind of activating on right now. And then we'll come back out to the side and range here. Good. And then come back in. Okay, all right, let's do one more in each way. So open and rotate as much as we can. And then do the opposite. All right, and time. Okay, let's go ahead and stand on up. We're going to, so first we will start stretching out our hamstrings. That's just the back side of our legs. So this, you can round at your spine here. You don't have to keep a neutral spine. So what that means is you can just relax your upper back, and then you can clasp your elbows together like this, and then relax your head. So what I'm trying to do is really get a good stretch just in the back side of my hamstrings. I don't have a bend in my knee. I'm also not like locking them out. It's just kind of like a soft, straight leg. But the more you bend your knees, the less you'll feel a stretch. So try to get them pretty straight, but don't like tense up everything and lock out. And then from here, you can kind of rotate side to side with your upper body. That will lengthen different sides of your hamstrings and on your IT band. But really just trying to lengthen as much as we can the back side of our legs. Okay. And we'll just hold this position either in a dynamic way, kind of going side to side, if that feels good. Gentle twisting. And then we'll be here for 10 more seconds. All right, and time. Okay, let's go ahead. You can roll on all the way up. And then, okay, so from here, can we grab those foam rollers again? Where did mine go? Oh. And then, so what you'll do is you're going to put it just right in the middle of your mat. And we'll do 10 reps on each side. So you'll stand off, like just off to the side of it. And then you're going to come all the way up and around over the foam roller. So if you could think of it like a gate, you'll drive your knee up, open and rotate all the way over, and then back down. And we'll try to keep as much control as we can here. If this is too high for you, it depends on how loose or how tall your foam roller is. You can just put it down and then find something that's a little bit lower. It just depends on how big it is for you. And good, we'll do 5 more. So open, rotate, tap the foot down. Yeah, Darlene, you could even...
So it doesn't hurt, but it's like clicking.
Okay, is it when you're externally rotating?
Yeah.
So when you're opening,
yeah.
Do you? So sometimes when we feel our joints moving, that's different. Is it then like popping? The way that our joints move, you can feel them rubbing. Sometimes we hear popping. We hear like kind of like crackling when you bend your knees. Is it that type of feeling, or is it almost like too much?
No, it's like it doesn't hurt or anything. It just
okay. Then that's okay as long as there's no pain. Yeah, as long as there's no pain, we don't want to be pushing through pain, but having the awareness of when our joints are moving is not, it's just different. It depends on like the femoral head of how it's moving. And so if there's no pain, then do you want to modify it, or are you good? You're good?
No, I'm okay. I wanted to double check.
Yes. Yep. All right. If you have not done so already, let's go ahead and do 10 on the opposite side.
Are you going just one way?
Yes,
Or are you going back?
just right now we're just doing open, and then we are going to do the opposite after we do after the 10.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yep. Yes. Great. All right. Good. All right. You guys all got it. All right. Great. How is this all feeling? Everything good? Thumbs up? Okay, great. All right. Once we have done, let's do 1 or 2 more on each side. And then let's go and do the opposite now. So you'll have to kind of come to like the other side of it. It's going to be a little bit weirder, but you're going to come up and around this way. If this is too weird with your foam roller, you can still do the same exercise without the foam roller if you're going to lose your balance on it. But you can come up and around. Think about like closing a gate this way now. So I come up to hip height, rotate inward, and then set down. So this is 4. We'll do 6 more. 5, 6, 7, 8, last 2, and then we'll switch to the other side. And last time on the right. Good. All right, now we'll do the left side. So same thing, this time we're coming up this way, closing the gate this way, tapping back down, rotate inward, 2, up to hip height, rotate in, 3. And then as we're bringing our knee up, we want to keep it in line with our hip as much as we can. That's going to keep our hips remaining pretty neutral here. We don't want to be overextending and bringing our hips out of alignment. Let's do 4 more. Great. 3. All right, last one. Great. Okay. You guys can take the foam roller off to the side. We are good there. And so we are going to do a squat. We're going to hold the squat down in the end range for 30 seconds. And the entire time, if you can get down this low, this is going to be the goal. You can take your feet out a little bit wider to help get you down here. But I'm going to take my elbows and drive them into my knees, really open up my hips here. And then we're just going to hold this position. So I'm pushing my elbows into my knees. Is everyone able to get down to this position? Good. All right, perfect. And then we can keep our shoulders pulled back. Try not to round at your back at all. Try to keep good posture here. And then if this feels good enough, depending on how tight you are, or you can kind of shift your hips inward and then opposite way. This will lengthen our adductors a little bit more. Or if this is enough of a stretch, you can just hold this position. We're relaxing, breathing evenly. You could do a 3 count in, 3 count out. This gives our body the ability to know that we can relax and release any tension that we might be holding. To be here for another 10 seconds or so. My dog is not happy. He's been removed from the bedroom. I can see his little paws under the door. He's excluded. Okay. All right, let's come out of that now. Are there any particular areas that you guys want to focus on today? Any areas that are tight, or I can keep going with what I had planned? We're good?
It's not really dunk. I don't know if it comes under today's category because it's not really hips. My calves,
Yeah.
the lower part of my legs,
Yep.
it's really hard to point my toes. Everything cramps.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's too far below the hips?
No. So when we look at the when we look actually the whole body, we look at it as a kinetic chain. So what happens at your ankles affects your knees, which affects your hips, which affects your shoulders, and everything's connected. So we can definitely stretch out our calves. Let's go ahead and so my favorite calf stretch is if you guys have like a block, or your foam roller could work too. Anything, it could be a step, it could be a weight, a dumbbell, but all we're going to do is we're going to use any object, and then if you're using your foam roller, I would say or use a block if you have it. That would be best. I'm going to bring my right foot, my toe, into the object, and then I keep my left foot really close to that object. So if you were doing it with the foam roller, you can just do this. And I'm lengthening right now all this right side. And I find, when you have it driving into something, you really get good length there. Let's see, switch. Yep. Yeah, perfect. How's this feeling, switch?
It stretches out the back of my calf a lot.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, because every time I go to work out, my feet cramp. And that, that's like important. I'm trying to get my feet to be better to support the rest of me.
Yep. So when you say your feet, is it like your toes, or your calf's different than your...
If I point my... See, now it doesn't... Okay, that worked. Normally when I point my toe, the entire cramps, and now it's not doing it.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Let's, we'll just hold on this side for 10 more seconds. We're going to do 45 seconds before we switch. So if you want to go back to the other side, switch. Great.
Yep, did.
And then if you switch, keep your left foot flat on the ground. It'll help lengthen your right side even more. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So drive the other toe into that whatever elevated object is. And again, if you bring your left foot pretty close to that object, it'll lengthen your right side even more. And we're just going to hold this position. You might find, so if you're right-handed, you might find that your right side right now is a little tighter than your left. We typically are tighter on our more dominant side because we use it more. So sometimes our left side, if we're right-handed, feels a little bit looser or lighter. So seeing any sort of kind of imbalances is normal. We can correct them. All right, let's do 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, this is going to be another good one for both hips and calves and hamstrings. So we are going to do dynamic inchworms. So all an inchworm is you start at the end of your mat. You're going to fold forward at the waist. You'll get a really good stretch in your hamstrings, and then you will walk your hands out into a plank. So then from here, we'll take one leg forward. You come up into this runner's lunge. So I have my left foot forward. I'm going to do one rotation here. So I'm taking my left forearm down towards my left foot, and I'm opening and I'm rotating as much as I can, open towards my left knee. Then I'm coming back down, setting my hand down, and then foot comes back into this plank. Then from here, I walk my hands all the way back up towards my feet. I try to keep my legs as straight as I can, but if I can't, I'll bend them. And then slowly return to standing. Okay, so that was on the right side. Now we're going to come from standing back down, hinge backwards, and then reach for the ground. Once you're here, walk out into that plank position. Then from here, right foot comes up, right forearm comes down, down straight by my foot. Open and rotate towards the right. Bring your right hand back down. Right foot comes back into the plank, and then I walk my feet up towards my hands. Return back up to standing. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times. That was round 1. So from standing, bend forward at the waist. Good stretch in your hamstrings here. Walk out into that plank position. My hands are right below my shoulders. And then I bring my left foot up, My left forearm comes down towards the ground. Open and rotate towards my left side. Get as much rotation and extension as I can. Return my left hand back to the ground. Left leg comes back and then back up to standing. And then again, same thing on the right. Fold forward, plank walk out, right foot comes up, and then right forearm comes down. Open, rotate, come back down, return that hand right below the shoulder, right foot comes back, and then we're back on all the way up to the starting position. Okay, one more time. Walking forward, all the way out into that plank position, and then our left foot comes up, left forearm down, open and rotate, back into plank, and then all the way back to standing. One more time on the right side. Fold forward, walk those hands out until they get to your shoulders, and then right side's up, right forearms down, open, rotate, return your hand right below your shoulder, foot comes back, and then on the last one, all the way up to standing. Okay, come on back down to the ground. We are going to stretch out our adductors. That's just our inner thighs here. If you don't, you might want to have like either if you have a yoga mat, fold it like sideways so you have a little bit more layering here. We're going to hold this position for about 45 seconds, and it might not be super comfortable on your knees if you're like on that cement or wood. Okay, so what we're going to do, I have my knees out in line with my feet. I'm feeling this all in my inner thigh here, and then I'm just going to hold this position with my knees driving out. So it looks like this, if you can see me. Yeah. So keep your knees driving out, and then you want your foot in line with your knee as you're relaxed in this position. So the wider you have your knees, obviously the more of a stretch you'll get. If this is too painful, you don't have to go all the way down to your forearms. You can modify and just kind of stay up on your fingertips. Depends on how tight your hips are here. And then if you wanted to make it a little more dynamic, you have the option to add in a little pulse. So you can kind of, like so slight, like maybe an inch, you can kind of drive your hips backwards a little bit. That's really going to lengthen here. Again, don't go into a painful position. But if you wanted to add a little movement, you can kind of shift your hips forward and then a tiny little pulse back. Or if this is enough of a stretch, we'll just hold here. We've got 15 more seconds. Great. Right, last 5 seconds. And time. Okay. Come on out of that. Okay. Are there any other areas we want to focus on? Or do we want to do some activation exercises? Calves, glutes, quads feeling good, hips feeling good? Yeah.
I got a lot of stiffness, Meredith, like kind of top, outer glute,
Okay.
and low back, kind of whatever you call this part.
What part of the butt? So our glute, so it's all related. What we can stretch out for you though is called your QL. So basically our glute connects all into our lower back. So if you want to come down to the ground, we can. So we'll bring our feet, we're going to lay on our back, we'll bend our knees. These are called gentle leg drops. So I'm just relaxing on my back. You can take your arms also out to a T. And all I'm going to do as I'm relaxing here is slowly lower my knees to one side. You probably won't even be able to go all the way to the ground. And then you'll just kind of rock on back and then go over to the right side. If this is too much spinal flexion for you, Anne, I'm sorry. Is this feeling okay on your spine? Yeah, thumbs up. You can just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, I have to be careful with this one.
Yeah. Take this one slow and controlled, but you could even just like really limit that motion. I don't know exactly how this is going to feel on that part of your spine, so just take this one slow and controlled. Kelsey, thumbs up. Is this kind of relieving that area? Yes? Okay, cool. All right, so we will do these gentle leg drops for 30 more seconds here. Got the timer started. Good. All right. Okay. 10 more seconds. Oh, why? Great. All right, and time. Okay, you guys can stay there on your back. This one is going to be a little funky. It's called the pretzel stretch. So imagine you're making yourself into a pretzel. So you'll start on your back, flat like this. I'm going to take my right knee to start, and I'm going to drive it over towards my left side, okay? Then my right hand is going to reach for my right foot. So I'm pulling my, I'm feeling this in my left quad right now, and then I just keep my shoulders relaxed here on the ground. So I'm stretching my lower back here. I'm getting a good stretch in my left quad right now, and then we're just adding in this slight little twist, and then our shoulders, my right shoulder is trying to stay down on the ground as well. Keep my chest open, nice and relaxed. Let's see. Yes. Great, you actually all got it. This one's confusing. All right, so we're just holding this position for 20 more seconds. Good. All right, last 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, then we're going to switch and do the opposite on opposite sides. So come back, and now this time we'll bring our left leg or our left knee up and over towards our right side, and then the other foot comes towards your right? Yes. Yeah, your quad. Get that good quad stretch on the other side. Try to lengthen the front side of your hip flexors. All right. So we'll hold this for another 20 seconds, and then I want to tell you guys about what I have kind of planned for upcoming sessions, and if there's anything you guys want to specifically target, want to make sure I'm getting your guys' needs met, aside from what I come planned with. All right, 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, time. All right, Kelsey, how's your kind of lower back, lumbar, glute area feeling? Good? Do you want to do any more stretches for your QL? We could do, are you good? Yeah, okay. All right, great. Let's go ahead and go into, we've got about 10 minutes now. So now that we have kind of opened up our hips and our glute area, when we think about our hip flexors, typically our front side of us has an easier time activating, and it's our glutes that actually is weaker and is not activated. So we're going to go into a few different glute transverse abdominis core exercises. So we'll start on the ground. We're going to do 15 reps of, so we'll combine a glute bridge and a sit-up. Can you guys see me? This is not a good setup. All right, we are going to. So bring your feet together like this, like a butterfly. Okay, then you're going to lay all the way down. Feet will be together. I'm starting with my hands right up to the side of me. This is a variation of a glute bridge. I'm keeping my feet together in this position, and then I'm driving my hips up into a glute bridge. I'm exhaling, keeping spine awareness, also my rib cage as well. I'm not flaring anything or overextending. Then I'm driving my hips back down. Then I'm going to sit all the way up and tap right in front of my feet. That's going to be the hard part. Okay, and then that's 1. We're doing 15, so extend all the way back to the starting position. Drive your hips all the way up into a glute bridge with those feet together. Come back down, sit all the way up, nice and tall. Good. Are we all able to do the sit up? So if there's anything, like switch, if you could put your feet underneath a couch or a bench or any sort of kind of counterweight, if anyone's having trouble getting up into the sit up, if you put something, or you can also put your feet together. This position is going to be really hard to get up in. If it's too challenging, you can just put your feet like a normal kind of typical sit-up.
I have a question. So in a like that butterfly position,
Yes.
like my knees, like my hips are fairly well. It goes out far. So when I try and do a glute bridge, I feel like I can't go up very far because, like, I don't have the.
So are you saying because of how your feet are in that position?
Yeah.
So you're not, okay, so your range is going to be different because of how your feet are positioned. You won't be able to go up as high, but that's still okay. We're still activating our glutes. It's just a different range of motion because of how your feet are towards the ground. They're just a lot closer than how in a normal.
Okay, so what should I be aiming for? Just so that I know.
I would aim to have your hips up, so hips in line with your chest and your shoulders. This is a straight line right here. So if it's basically only like 2 or 3 inches lower than it normally is. It's not that big of a difference.
Okay, so yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good. Okay. Let's try to do 2 more of these, depending on how many you've gotten through so far. Okay. And the last one. All right. Perfect. Okay. Then another great activation exercise for us. So when we think about our adductors being really tight, what we, especially with the horseback riding, when we're having to squeeze the horse with our inner thighs, a good strengthening exercise and a lengthening exercise, they're called butterfly adductor holds. So what that means is we're going to keep our feet together like this butterfly position. I'm just going to use the force of my hands right here on my knees, and I'm going to resist so I'm going to first drive my knees down towards the ground, open up, then I'm going to push my hands into my knees, creating this pressure, and then I'm going to try to drive my knees up in towards one another while creating this pressure. So I'm just using my body weight, but I'm resisting myself, trying to kind of create this tension in my adductors. And then I'm going to do the opposite, where I'm going to push my knees down, try to open up my adductors. So we're stretching right here, lengthening, opening up, and then the opposite, driving in, and then creating this tension that's really making us work really hard right here. And then again, the opposite, driving your palms straight into your knees. Keep our shoulders pulled back, nice good posture here. And then again, opposite here, driving your knees in towards one another. We'll do 2 more each way. So pressing down, getting really good length, resisting that, trying to keep our activated here. And then the opposite all the way back in. Okay, one more time. Drive down, create this pressure, create this challenge for our adductors. And then one more time, squeezing back together, but I'm pushing my hands, making this really challenging. Okay, and time. Relax. Okay, let's do some single leg work. How does that sound? So this is one of my favorite We do this a lot in Awaken Your Strength. So we have to focus, when we put our knee or our foot like this on our knee, this forces us to kind of have a little pelvis awareness here of keeping our hips neutral here. So what I want you to do is come up into this glute bridge. Focus on keeping your hips squared straight up, like you have two runways going straight forward, and then bringing your hips back down. Okay, so we'll do this 12 times. So I'm driving through my heel, keeping my hips squared off towards the ceiling, and then I'm driving back down, and then it's just a quick tap and go. So go all the way up, hold up at the top for a second or two, control on the way down, and then right back up. That's 4, we got 8 more. Lower your hips back down, exhale on the way up, drive hips up, 5, and down. All the way up, drive through that heel with some power, 6, and down, halfway, 6 more. So drive up, bring those hips up, squeeze up at the top, and then control on the way down. That's 7, and then up. You guys can continue for 4 more here, and then down. All right, drive up. If you want to make this even more challenging, you could kind of keep your hands off the ground as we're doing this. You can lose the support right now from your hands, and really focus on having to use our core and our glutes and our hamstrings to get our bodies off the ground. Right. Okay. And let's do one more. Bring those hips up, off the ground, drive up, and then back down. Okay, great. Let's switch to the other side. We've got about 1 or 2 more minutes. We'll do 12 more here. If you guys want to start counting these on your own, again, it's driving through your heels, driving your hips up off the ground, engaging your glutes, your hamstrings. You might even feel this in your calf a little bit. We're really just trying to focus on that spinal awareness. What feels good? Keeping our hips level. That's the goal. Okay. So like I mentioned, this will be, I think it gets like released tomorrow. So if you guys wanted all to do more mobility, I recommend that you try to do at least like 2 to 3 sessions of mobility a week. It doesn't have to be an hour long.